Hello there. This is Vinita Nangia, reading my column Ozone for the Times of India. Keep going in a straight line, a lesson of survival. Here are two stories that share the lesson of survival. Understanding your situation and the determination to carry on will get you out of any difficulty. In his latest, The Comfort Book, author Matt Haig talks of a time when he and his father lost their way in a forest in France. They had no cell phones and were panicking after hours of roaming around in circles. Then his dad said, "If we keep going in a straight line, we'll get out of here." And they did eventually. Matt says he has ever since used this strategy as his beacon whenever depressed or in trouble. The determination to keep walking forward rather than in circles always stood him in good stead, in doubt, fear, depression, or during a breakdown. Later in the same book, Matt mentions the story of Julianne Kopke, the 17-year-old who in 1971 fell through the sky into the Amazon rainforest while still strapped to her seat when lightning struck their plane. All 91 others on the flight were killed, leaving her the sole miraculous survivor. Julianne's fall was cushioned by the jungle canopy, and she managed to unstrap herself and, using skills gained by living with her zoologist parents for over a year in the Peruvian forest, started on her walk back to civilization. In her book, When I Fell from the Sky, Julianne says that despite her concussion and injuries, she knew only one thing: I have to get out of here. After the crash, I wanted to survive, and I did the near impossible. She remembered something her dad had told her. When we have really resolved to achieve something, we succeed. We only have to want it, Julianne. This belief helped her plod through the terrible jungle with deadly snakes, spiders, giant rodents, crocodiles, vultures feeding on dead people, stingrays and piranhas, despite her own broken collarbone and a deep wound that got infested with maggots. She knew how to avoid snakes camouflaged as dry leaves, to always sleep with her back protected, how to extract maggots from her wounds, to swim in the middle of the river to avoid the snakes on the banks and the stingrays in the shallows. She writes in her book, "My experience is, when you are in the midst of a terrible event, and the more horrible it is, the more this is true, you simply let go. The terror comes afterward." When in the middle of a bad situation, there is no space for panic or terror. A cool mind drawing upon experience and wisdom, yours or acquired, is the only hope out of a difficult situation. Let go emotions. Stop overthinking. Be in the moment and take one baby step after the other. Self-awareness and knowledge are important. It was Julianne's knowledge of the forest and her self-awareness that saved her, as Matt points out clearly. An average person in the same situation as Julianne may not have survived. But Julianne had the gift of knowledge of the forest through her parents. In her own book, Julianne acknowledges this fact. "Without knowledge and understanding of the laws of the jungle, I would probably not be alive today," she says. The instructions in these two stories are not very different. Matt's dad instructed him to keep walking in a straight line rather than in circles, and Julianne's dad advised, if you get lost in the jungle and you find flowing water, then stay near it. Follow its course. It will bring you to other people. So long as you know what you want, just keep going straight in a focused manner without getting distracted, and you will find your path. Knowledge gives you the weapon, and a sharp, alert mind the strategy to survive even the most difficult situations. Matt Haig quotes the timeless advice of Sun Tzu from the classic military treatise, The Art of War. Know your enemy. This applies to all aspects of life. In the jungle of life, too, Understanding the adversities you face can help you combat them successfully. Lack of this knowledge can destroy you. Julian's story is an old one, but when I found it in Matt Haig's latest The Comfort book, it got me reading Julian's book and appreciating once again the courage and agility of that young mind, which refused to give up in the face of unimaginable difficulties and pain. Of course, every situation demands new decisions, and Julian's survival techniques need not necessarily work in another situation for another person. But the real lesson from her story is one of dogged determination, self-awareness, and of clinging on to the basic instinct for survival. That will never let anyone down. Thank you.